being here for 1 year. Should have been here a year ago, teaching and explaining this, but they kept me from doing this. However, we're here now and we're going to make it work. I am inspired by the life I live with my children and my husband. I'm also inspired by my big brothers and my sisters who all live here. Well, they all live abroad. We just have one baby left back in Nigeria. And then, of course, my mom and my dad, who opened up the world to us and told us that, hey, think of amazing ideas every morning as you get up. I've always had a notepad ever since I was little. Here it is here as well. Okay, now let's jump right into it. Let me move away from who I am to what I do every day, my professional career and myself. And I'm going to say it in 2 minutes because I want to jump right into all the links and I want to share my screen. Okay. Now, even though I am a mother of two, I've always allowed myself to remember that I am more than David's mom. I'm more than Lisa's mom. These are my kids. I'm more than Coyote's wife. I am Addie. And Addie has a purpose. Addie has something she loves to do and gives into the society every day. And of course, has the power to make wealth. That's me. Now, a long time ago, and you will also find out for yourself, I realized that I am very good at customer service. I can turn clouds into sunshine. My words have chocolate and honey dripping from it, but I can monetize it. I can get that job. I know how to do the interviews. I know how to answer the questions. I know how to package it. I know how to provide it. Now, I'm also really good at being trained. I come like an empty cup so that I can be filled up. This is who I am. Now, I started working back in e-taxi way before there was even Uber. E-taxi Nigeria when I was 19 years old. I was a sales associate. I would go to the clubs. I would go to Obalende. I would go to Ikeja under bridge, and I would talk about how e-taxi can bring you a taxi, a nice Toyota, just by calling. You don't need to wait for yellow cab. Just call this number. Just text this number, and we'll send a driver to you. We had 109 taxis, and honestly, my CEO back then, Mr. Dimeji Mateson, amazing person. I love him. He hired a young 19-year-old. And he started me on this journey. So I would do sales, and then I would come into the office and pick up calls, customer service. I got the opportunity to come to the United States. I went to school in Florida, and I went to school in Dallas. I went to vacate. I went to do vacation in Houston with a friend, and that's where I met my husband. And we've been married for 11 years now. He's given me 2 beautiful homes. I don't know how he did it. He did it with me a little bit. And then I realized that, hey, what I did in e-taxi, I can do here in the United States. So I worked with AT&T. That was my very first job at AT&T. I worked at $9 an hour. And then I moved up to a private company called James and Luther. And again, I married a US Army man. So we had to move twice to the different bases. We had to, go and fight somewhere. And so we had to move. But every time I moved, I remembered who I was. And I said, look, I can take charge here. I can work here as long as I know what I love to do. So every time we moved, I moved to a new company. And every time I moved to a new company, that means I kept my professional journey going. I know it's not easy for a lot of people, but if you can, do not get off that professional train. But because I kept my journey going, my salary increased. So I went from $9 an hour, I went to $17 an hour. Now we moved again to another location. And at that location, it was Houston, Texas. I got hired by United Health Group. United Health Group is one of the biggest companies that handles health insurances here in the United States. I remember doing the interview and not realizing that I was going to be speaking with doctors, nurses, and doctors' offices, and sometimes even patients that were going through heart transplant, patients that were going through liver transplant, and they wanted to discuss their insurance plan, what their company was going to cover, and they also wanted to discuss their bill. I was going to answer those questions. For the next 4 years, I worked at that company, and I only got paid $18 an hour. Now, while I worked there for 4 years, I had 2 of my babies. Yes, I kept working. Sometimes I was breastfeeding, and that was when I started my remote journey. Now, when I got hired by United Health Group, I am 2 minutes into my journey and I'll be over. When I got hired by United Health Group, they had me drive 45 minutes to work. 45 minutes in Houston traffic is crazy, but I did it diligently and consistently. Another thing I want to go ahead and bring in is sometimes we are so intense. We're doing it one time, intense, and then tomorrow we don't do it anymore. It doesn't work that way. You have to be consistent. So I consistently drew for 45 minutes for about 6 months. One day my supervisor walked over and said, "Hey, Addie, right from training, right from your you being hired full-time, you've been amazing. So we've elected 6 of you to go home and start working." I thought she meant we were fired. But she actually meant, no, we're starting with 6 of you to start working from home. This was before COVID. So in the United States, even though some people were working from home, it wasn't a lot of people. We were one of the very first 6 people to start it. The company wanted to start it. And so I went home and started working from home. I remember going to Walmart, which is kind of like our little store here, and getting myself a $20 office desk. And then I got myself some very old-fashioned headphones. Now I actually use, oh, give me one moment here. Please give me 1 minute. Something else is sharing on my screen.
No problem,
and
that's
I
fine.
need to share.
Okay, we're also trying to get that fixed. So good evening, everyone. For those who just joined in late, while she's talking, I'm going to drop a link to a WhatsApp group, especially for this support, so that after the call, we can continue the conversation on the WhatsApp group, basically for this. So while she's speaking to the topic and what she'll be discussing, feel free to just check the chat box, pick up the link, and then join the WhatsApp group, so that we can get more information across to you after the call, right? And all the links you'll be sharing, right, we'll also keep them and then put them on the platform so you can always refer to them. I hope that works for everyone. If it works for you, please indicate with an emoji, so I know we are all on the same page. Awesome. Okay, Treasure. Thank you, Carol. Thank you. If you have a question, you can also drop it in the chat box. I'll pick it up from there. Adi, are we good to go?
We are now good to go. Sorry about that, everybody. I had something at the background playing, and I had to stop it from playing. Give me just one more moment. Okay, there we are. We're back. Okay, and so that's how I started my remote journey. Back in 2016, I started working for United Health Group, and I went home. I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to keep working from home. COVID happened, and we also had a huge flood here in Houston, Texas. So they realized that the idea of people working from home was amazing because nobody had to drive in the flood. Nobody had to come out during COVID. We just kept working. And that was good for me because I had babies being born. I was breastfeeding at the time or nursing. And I loved being able to live with my children, see them have their first walk. Of course, I had a nanny. I had my mom with me. And then I went ahead. Thank you, Mary. And then I went ahead and continued working from home. While I was working from home with United Health Group, and this is where I want to talk about consistency, I realized I wanted to earn more than $18 an hour. I realized I could do more. I could be more. And so what I did was when my daughter was 1 month old, I remember getting ready for her 1 month appointment with the doctor. And I always check my emails in the morning. I know some of us are really different. Some of us go to the kitchen first. Some of us do something else. I go to my emails first. And I realized that American Express was hiring. This is a mom. I have a 1 month old. She's in my hand. We're getting ready to doctor's office. I already work for United Health Group, but I had it in my heart that I wanted to earn more. And I see this email, American Express is hiring. American Express provides, I don't know if you know this, but platinum cards and the exclusive black card, the card that you swipe and you buy an airplane kind of card. That company was hiring. And that company is so hard to get into. They only hire every once, maybe 8 years, 10 years. Well, they were hiring. I applied right there and then. Consistency. I always made sure that my resume was ready. I had it saved on my desktop. We're going to talk about resumes. We're going to talk about cover letters today, because we're going to tie it all into consistency and tie it all into making sure that when the opportunity comes knocking, you are ready. Now, with my daughter on my arm, I clicked, I applied. I remember my husband saying, we're going to be late to our first 1 month appointment. And I said, I'll be there. And I carried her and we went to the doctor's appointment. While I was there, I got a notification, ping, from American Express. 45 minutes later, they said, hey, we noticed your resume just came through. We'd like to set up a second interview. They set up a second interview. And when they set that interview up, I'm going to be honest with you, it was 2 weeks after. 2 weeks after, Houston had winter freeze. It was so cold in Houston. It was minus degrees. We had never seen anything like it. Our electricity went off. We were sleeping in our cars to keep warm, and people were opening up their barbecue pits just to keep warm. It was really cold. I had a 1 month old and 2 weeks old in my hand, and a toddler, and my husband and my nanny in a car. And guess who called? American Express. They called and said, hey, Addie. They didn't know I was in Houston, Texas, and I was in my car. They said, hey, Addie, we noticed you applied to American Express 2 weeks ago. Are you ready for an interview? I said, yes, in a car with no lights, in the cold. I said, I'm ready to take that interview. They said, oh, they're going to do a phone interview real quick. Am I ready for those questions? I will go through some interview questions with you today and how to answer them. I answered questions like, what is your work style? How do you behave when you're criticized? How do you take high pressure in the job? I answered all those questions. And ladies and gentlemen, brethren, I got the job. In the winter freeze, I got the offer. They proceeded to do another video interview with me a month later. Thankfully, of course, the electricity was restored in Texas by the end of the week. But by that month, I was ready to move to American Express. I worked with American Express at $21.50. So remember my journey, $9, $17, $18, $21.50. Now, while working with American Express, it was amazing. Everything was just nice and flashy. I even got my husband to get the very nice platinum card. Of course, we couldn't get the black card. We're not that rich, but at least he got the platinum card. And I got him to add me to it so I could get an extra card and I could be all bougie and all that. But I realized that, hey, I have to stay consistent. This ladder that brought me to where I am, I need to continue to use this ladder, right? Consistency, right? Not just about intensity, but consistency. Not just about working hard, but working smart, which is why we're watching the clock even as we're speaking. It's 9:21. This brings me to the final part of my journey, my professional journey with you. Now, while working at American Express, I read an article about mothers who work from home, but are virtual assistants. They do customer service, but they're contractors. They earn upwards of $25, $30 an hour. They're virtual assistants for CEOs. They're customer service agents that come in the back end, meaning the company has closed for the day, but there's somebody that joins at night to do all the work they couldn't do during the day, to push the company forward by providing some more information overnight. And these people were doing it from the comfort of their homes. The name of that company or that platform was called Upwork. This is where I share my screen really quickly. Now, if you see anything funny or funky, it's okay. I have no secrets. This is Upwork. I found Upwork in 2019. I worked at Upwork. Well, let's say I started applying to Upwork jobs December 9 of 2019. I did it 2 hours every day, consistency. 2 hours every day after I have breastfed, after I have worked my full-time job, after I have cooked, done laundry. I would have 2 hours of interrupted work after the kids have gone to bed, and then I will apply to Upwork. I did it 2 hours every day for 10 days. And my first job, let me know if you can see my screen, was a data entry specialist. Do you see the price? $7.25. So this young man who hired me wanted me to work overnight or anytime I could after my full-time job, and he will pay me $7.25. This became a trend. I started working for other companies who increased the pay to $13. This is Upwork. This is contractor work, not full-time. $17. Eventually, I even got a job for $25. Sometimes I'll get a job for $10. You see a job for $8. Right now, let's just say I don't earn $25 anymore in Upwork. But from 2019 to 2021, I earned 26 jobs, 50,000 US dollars. This house was balling. It is not about collecting allowance anymore. After a while, I just stopped cooking. I said, just order in. Here's the card. Swipe and go. However, this also helped to pay for very important things in my life. Things I needed to move on to, things I needed to do. Now, that's Upwork. I'll show you something. I recently started Upwork again. I actually wanted to do this as a test this year. I have a goal to save 100,000 US dollars. Save, not spend. Save 100,000 US dollars. But to get there, I needed an extra boost. I have a full-time job. I left American Express and a startup company, and you know startups have a lot of money. They found me on LinkedIn and they said, we want you. You work for American Express, we'll pay you better. We'll give you more hours. Heck, we'll send you a whole new Mac laptop. They did. I absolutely love Mac, by the way. And so they sent it to me. And I started working for this company. I currently work from this startup company, and they've already sent me, well, I work from home, but they've sent me on 2 company retreats. I went to Austin, Texas last year for 3 days, and I just came back from New Orleans 2 weeks ago. It is a remote job, and it is a startup company, and they pay me stupid amount of money, which I love. And all I'm doing is customer service. I stayed consistent to my craft, and I was giving time to my craft. Now, this is Upwork. I'll show you a job I just started last week, Monday, on Upwork. Here's the job. Do you see timesheets from January 29th to February 4th? This is the company. Ashley Nicole, customer service representative. Ashley is the name of the CEO. She sent me an email via Upwork, said, hey, I noticed that you've worked in Upwork for the last couple of years. I would like you to apply. So I did. Bear in mind, I already have my full-time job, but Upwork came calling. And I thought, this is a good opportunity to save the 100,000 a year this year that I'm trying to do. And so she called me to work and she proposed the offer. I sent Maxwell a video of the interview, the first interview and the second interview. Remember, this is a contractor job. So you are flexible with when you can do this. You can do this before your full-time job. You can do this after your full-time job. You can do this overnight. You can even do it over the weekend. I prefer to keep my weekends completely free, so I do it during the week. So from January the 29th to the 24th, she pays me $20 an hour. This is how much I've earned working 1 week. It's coming on Wednesday. By Monday, I'll start earning again. This is Upwork. This is one of the platforms I'm going to introduce you to. But I'm not going to limit us to just Upwork because we're staying consistent and we're going to continue to use the resources around us. The second one I want to show you is, and the link is there. Please don't think the links are not there. Upwork.com. We just talked about it. Then we're going to talk about hot Nigerian jobs. Yes, there are companies hiring remotely in Nigeria. So you have the opportunity to work on Upwork because Upwork is always hiring around the world and they pay in USD, dollars. But there are jobs in Nigeria hiring Nigerians remotely. I have one that I pulled up, but I want to show you how I find the jobs. So again, the link is going to be there. Don't ask for the link now. Don't get distracted. We have to stay focused for the next few minutes. Now, this is the company, hotnigerianjobs.com. I'm just waiting for it to pull up. There it is. And then I go to field. Let me know if at any time you're not seeing my screen. It is important that you see my screen. I go to field, and then I just type in remote. If it will let me type in remote. While it's still spinning. There you go. Okay, there it is. Remote freelance work. Type it, click on it, scroll down, do nationwide, set filter. When I did this morning, there were 40 jobs on here. There it is. There's still 40 jobs. Remote content developer. Let's move down a little bit. International recruitment officer. Let's just move down just a little bit more. Accountant, payment and settlement reconciliation specialist, digital marketing analyst, head of region, front-end developer, state representatives, etc., etc. I pulled up the accountant one earlier today because I thought it was pretty cool. So this is what they posted this job on the 2nd, so 2 days ago. And it's 95% remote. And all they want you to do is this. And this is the salary. This is a remote job in Nigeria. I'm not in Nigeria. I'm in Houston, Texas. Okay. Say you don't want to work remote. Say you like to drive. Say you want to go to an office. You miss hanging out with people. Same thing. Go to the same website, hotnigerianjobs.com. MTN is recruiting. I'm also aware that Access Bank is doing a lot of entry-level jobs right now. It's all here. Now, let's say you want to work in Africa. You want to leave Nigeria and just want to go to South Africa, go to some remote part of Africa. You just want to leave everything behind. I feel you. There's remoteafrica.io. Again, the links will be provided. Please don't try to write it down yet. The links will be provided. We're going through it first. Now, with remote.io, it is important that you select and filter. So I filtered, I believe earlier on today, Nigeria, and it brought out this company. Or at least it brought out one of the jobs. And there's a customer service representative job that I'm going to share with you right now. Here it is. Here it is. Oh, I'm sorry. It's an executive virtual assistant. Now, if you notice, it's remote friendly. They posted it since Nigeria, since the 20th. It's Nigeria. It's full time. And if you're ever wondering who the company is, the name of the company is Park Pro Movers. And they're right here in Dallas, Texas. They're 4 hours away from me. Amazing that there are companies in Dallas, in Houston, Texas, all around the US that want to hire people in Africa. There it is. Dallas, Rosemead Street, Parkway 023. I might have gone through this at one point when I lived in Dallas, but that's their office. That's their company. And they want somebody to be an executive representative. Why not you? Why not you? We're 31 minutes into this. I just have one more thing I want to share with you. Finally, and of course, we'll wrap things up and I'll take your questions because we have some time. There are resources available to you. There's LinkedIn Learning, which is a great place for you to go learn a new skill. But it's not important that you know all this knowledge. It's not important that you know that there's fish in the ocean, meaning there's remote Africa, there's hot Nigerian jobs, there's Upwork, there's even LinkedIn jobs. But LinkedIn is so saturated, so I think it's important to narrow it down. It's not important to know all this, and then you apply, but nobody looks at your resume. It doesn't make any sense. That means you failed. That means you've worked hard, but you haven't delivered the results. Let me go back to stop sharing for a minute. But you haven't delivered the results because you're not packaged properly. So you've stayed consistent. You've looked at the jobs on Upwork. You found the jobs on hotnigeria.com. You found a job on remote.io. But this is where Uniek Idea comes in. This is where we have partnered up so that we can connect you to the job. But when you're connected to the job, you submit the right cover letter, you are prepared for the interview, and you submit the right resume. And then, of course, the mentorship, the support, the community, the encouragement to keep it going. If you have someone consistently showing you, because there's a law that says you become what you see. What you continue to look at, you become it. You have a community with us that can say, hey, this is where to go. This is what you need to learn. But these are the resources that you're going to use, that you're going to need. This is the mentorship. This is the follower. This is us checking up on you. This is us saying, hey, do you have questions? Hey, what did you do? How can you do it better? And all that. Now, I want to say a few things. All of us have 24 hours, and everybody likes saying that word a lot. But honestly, 24 hours has not been enough for me sometimes. So I have learned over time to not work harder, but to work smarter. I'm doing this on a Sunday morning when I could be resting before I go to church. But I decided, hey, let me put that to work. That consistency, that information that I have, how do I bring it in? So what I did and what I'm encouraging you to do, and what's also going to be included as a key takeaway in this is this. There have been great people in this world, Maya Angelou, Charles Dickens, that have only worked 7 hours a day, 8 hours a day, or 4 hours a day. But 4 hours of focused work, 2 hours of focused work is greater than 8 hours of distracted, useless, time-wasting work. Learn to break your day into chunks. Assign a task to each chunk. Remove distractions. Apply 1 hour a day, 1 hour or 2 hours a day to a remote job. Go to where all the links that are going to be available, go there. Increase invest in your craft as a person. I've invested in my craft. I've read books. I've gone online and did audiobooks because at the point my hands were too busy to hold a book. So I had to listen to the book while I was doing dishes, while I was doing the laundry. I invested in my craft, not for 8 hours, not for 9 hours, an hour, 2 hours. I'm working smarter. And I'm wrapping this up by saying this. Once you break out into your WhatsApp groups, it's not enough to say, hey, I went to a webinar, check mark. No. Next steps. What do I need to now do? What resource do I need to get? Knowledge is available, but it's pricey. Because when you start earning the USD, what you paid for starts to make sense. It's worth it. So you can either pay with your time, you can either pay with your money, you can either pay with just removing all those things you love. You don't have to watch the soccer match live. You can watch the recording. I watch soccer too. I love Korean dramas. I will wait until the drama has finished, 12 episodes, 16 episodes, because I am dedicating time to my craft. Because I want to earn the upwards of 45 an hour, 50 an hour. I don't know if everything I've said makes sense. It is 9:36. I'm going to pause, and then I'm going to send all the links right over. I'm going to thank you all for your time. I am ready to take those questions.
Okay. A lot of light bulb moments. Thank you so much, Adi. I'm sure people have. Oh, I can see the emojis. Oh my god. Okay, so if you have a question, please feel free to raise your hand so we can take your question. I told her she was going to be in the house live, and she's in the house live. So please, if you want to ask a question, please do. Okay, Miss Awe, I can see your hands up. So just Miss Awe.
Oh, go for it.
You can unmute. Yeah, and then after that we'll take NK. Okay, great, thanks.
Good morning.
Hello, Miss Awe.
You
Okay.
in US. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, we can hear you now.
Hello. Oh,
yeah, we can hear you.
all right. Thank you. My question is concerning the CV, the resume to upload on Upwork, because recently I used it. They sent me email, but I got stuck in the middle, so I had to leave it. So what kind of CV, like what kind of resume can I put? I have a resume that I use as an educator. So
Oh, wonderful.
I don't know how to go about it from there.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for all you do. Great question. Upwork is going to take a one-on-one session to create the right profile and to upload the right resume. I'm so sorry. That's just the way Upwork works. I spoke with Maxwell and I told him that I trained 81 people 2 years ago how to create their Upwork profile, meaning I shared my screen and 81 people shared their screen. It was a 6-hour webinar. And that's why we all had to upload our resume one by one. I had to go through each resume. In fact, I encourage you to put a picture of yourself in your resume. I have one as well, right here somewhere. And that's what I use for Upwork. But it's going to take a one-on-one session. It's not something I'm going to throw out there and say, hey, put this there. No, we have to create the account from scratch. We have to put the right jobs or the right connectors, or how do I say this? The right keywords so that the jobs can come to you. So if you educator jobs, we're going to have to put the right keywords so that the educator jobs can come, so that your profile goes out to employers that want to hire educators. If it's a customer service job you just want on the side, or a data entry job, we have to put those keywords when we're creating the Upwork profile. Then we push our resume in there. That's how to get 50K in 2 years. I just have to be honest. But it's going to take a one-on-one session. It can't be something at this time. So you would have to get with Uniek ideas, connect with them, and then we can do a one-on-one session and get that ready to go. I hope that answers your question. There's a lot of work to still be done.
Hello, Ms. Anway. Does it answer your question? Oops. Oh, she said yes, it does. Okay, awesome. Okay, NK.
Sounds good. Hi, NK.
Hi, Adi. Hi, everyone. Adi, thank you for that insightful lecture you've given to us on this customer service. So just with what Awe said, looking at we in the education field, it's kind of difficult. So I don't know, even with the Upwork account and all, I've been sending resumes and all, and every day I keep checking. It was last viewed by your client, and then nothing. I've had resumes, I've had proposals I've sent. They've been like a week old, days old, and I don't know if what is being limited here is the fact that when they open your profile, they start seeing, oh, you were in education field. Even when you put in this, I start with data entry because my first job after my youth service, that is what I became an expert in. Imputing data, and then along the line I started getting little knowledge of email marketing and customer service based on what I do as a school supervisor. But we don't know, do this limit them? Because when we have the likes of you that are up there, that already have established clients, and then
I don't have any established clients.
Okay, all right.
I don't have.
And then
I just have an established resume, and then I'm open to work. For example, and I haven't seen your profile on Upwork yet, but I'll say this: even though I'm customer service, I have worked in an Upwork as a loan processor, data entry. So even if my full-time job is customer service, even though that's my industry, even though your industry is education, have you considered just doing data entry on Upwork, creating a profile for just data entry, getting only data entry jobs? They'll still pay in USD anyway. And that way you can start building your profile on Upwork. My first job on Upwork was $7.25. And then it went up to $25 an hour. And if you look at my Upwork profile, when you open it, it still says Addie will take $7.25. Can you imagine? Even though I get hired for 25 and above. So maybe the approach is what needs to change. Do we need to come in as educators? We can put our resume out there like, hey, we're working as an educator supervisor. That's all nice and great. And I thank you for all you do in the education industry. But what about coming in as a data entry specialist? Your very first job. Let's get a $7.25 an hour job, a $10 an hour job, a $9 an hour job, $15, and then we keep rising. Does that make sense? I don't know if that does. Again, it's going to take a one-on-one session for me to see your resume, see your Upwork profile, and then we can tailor-made it to getting the right employers to coming back to you. So maybe we don't need education jobs on Upwork. Maybe we just need data entry for now. And as we rise, I don't have a dedicated client. I have to be honest with you. I left Upwork for a whole year and I just jumped back into Upwork because I was reached out to. They looked at my long history of work. We want to create long history of work for you as well. Does that make sense? And that means we might start with $7.25 an hour, which isn't too bad. I hope that answers your question, NK.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Do we have any other question? Okay, Okodi Mary. Yeah, so Mary, you can unmute your mic. We can take a question right now. Hello, Mary.
Good evening. Good evening. Maybe you can hear me.
Hello, we can hear you.
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity, and I really appreciate you guys taking time to expose us to this knowledge. You made mention of one-on-one sessions. What does it entail to have that one-on-one session so that at least
Okay.
you can engage?
I'm glad you brought that up. You remember today when we started, I talked about Upwork, Remote Africa, and also jobs in Nigeria. The one-on-one session that Uniek Ideas is going to create, that's Maxwell and his amazing team, Ruth, everybody there. When they create that session for you, it's going to entail you getting the right resource from us. So we have a 7-week course that teaches you resume, cover letter, answers and questions during the interview. Because just like NK and Awe want to put their resume out there in Upwork and be picked up, the moment you're picked up, I don't want you to be a deer in headlights, meaning you're just, how do I answer this question? And then we fail the interview. That's where the one-on-one session brings in something extra. Then we say, we're not just applying to Upwork. Let's apply to Remote Africa. Let's apply to LinkedIn, Nigeria. Let's apply to the other platforms that are out there. We don't always have to get an Upwork job. You can get a full-time job, just like the one that we noticed when I shared my screen, here in Nigeria, but you're sitting in your house. Or we can get a job in South Africa off of remoteafrica.com, and then we go from there. So that's what the one-on-one session does that webinars like this might not be able to do. We're now bridging the gap. We're bringing you one step closer to your interview across different platforms. We're bringing you one step closer to an employer across different platforms. But we're not just throwing you into the water and, okay, now face the shark. We're now preparing you on how to answer a question. For example, we'll go over, hey, 19 possible questions the recruiter will ask you, and those 19 answers that you should have. We also have videos of live recordings of interviews and what I said, how we said it, how we delivered it, even how to accept an offer letter. You know, some people don't even know how to say, hey, you're offering me $20 an hour, but I think I'm worth more than 20. How do we do salary negotiation? That's what this one-on-one does. But the one-on-one also makes sure that we are keeping you accountable. We're not going to just say, hey, we attended a webinar, let the job start coming in. It doesn't work that way. Now we'll dedicate an hour, 2 hours of consistently applying. I'll give you an example. When I trained those 81 people, only 2 people got jobs. One beautiful girl in Enugu. I love that girl so much. Her name is Ifoma, and I know that she's probably connected somehow to this meeting. She got 2 jobs, one with a company in the UK and another opportunity with a job with a company in the US, right from her tiny little apartment in her school. Immediately, she started getting paid. She paid off her school fees. She got a Nigerian passport and she moved to Lekki. I still want her to come and visit me here in the US with her laptop. She still works on Upwork. She still asks me questions because I'm a mentor to her. I do one-on-one sessions that she pays for because she pays for this information. And we guide her through it. Now, that's one example. I have another example. There was a mother in Atlanta. She had just come from Nigeria a month before, and she was desperate for a job. She joined my Upwork meeting, the 81 people, and as she was applying to the jobs, because I created the whole account from scratch, we all went through our resumes. As she was applying to the jobs, she didn't realize that she applied to a job to a recruiter hiring for IBM customer service. Hey, employers on Upwork don't say, hey, I'm IBM, I'm American Express. They just come as a recruiter, and then they call you for an interview. And that's what they did. Today, that lady's in Atlanta, and she works for IBM customer service. She left Upwork. There was no need to. So that's what a one-on-one session does. It bridges the gap. opens you up to more opportunities, brings the employers, gets you ready for the interviews, and keeps you accountable so that we're not just being at a webinar and getting all this information, but we consistently apply it over time. My first job on Upwork took me December 9th to December 19th to be hired. That was more than 10 days of dedicating 2 hours a day to applying to Upwork. And from there, I just continued to fly. I hope that answers your question, Mary.
Hi, Mary.
Yes,
Hope
please.
that
Yes, yes, I don't know if you can hear me. Yes,
I
it
can hear you.
does. But I wanted to have, you said the one-on-one session entails a price. May I know how much it is, please?
Oh, so Unique Ideas will let you know what is going to entail, because it's not enough for us to just put a price on something. We're also going to provide you with materials and resources that you're going to be studying and going through and applying and using during those one-on-one sessions with me and with the rest of the team. So they will get back with you on that information.
Yeah, thank you very much, Adi. So in the chat box, I've been dropping the link to a WhatsApp group, which you can join, so that we can share more information with you. If you recall, she talked about some links. She sent them to me already, so I'm going to share them on the platform, and I'm going to take my time to answer all your questions, right? And take you through, the process of trying to get enrolled for the program. By the way, this is not just some fast, quick scheme thing, right? You go through the program, and
Absolutely.
if you heard what she said, you get taught how to craft your resume, your CV. Now that's a lifetime investment. Trust me, right? Alongside a few other things. Personally, true confession, I also tried to set up an Upwork account for some time. I mean, so many years ago. And it was not just adding up. So I just left.
No more. You found me now. You found me.
Yeah,
I know what to do. I'll guide you.
When I came across what she was doing, in fact, I stumbled across her posts. It was a miracle, because I spend less than 3 minutes or 5 minutes on Facebook every day, most times. So I just picked my phone to look for some information, and I'm like, oh my God, really? It was not Upworking, thank you.
There's money to be made.
Right now, yeah.
It's on the table.
And, there's a lot of money to be made. So just check the chat box. There's a link there. I'm also dropping my number, so you can just chat me up, just in case you're unable to connect with the link, so that I can get you all the information you need. You can get on the program, right, and we can help you get these jobs, right? There's something powerful I want to say before we allow Adi to go, because it's a Sunday morning. She needs to get to church, right? So if you are able to secure this kind of jobs, what it means is you are penetrating the global space with your ideas and your skills. I don't know if you understand what that means. It is something else. First of all, your profile changes. I mean, the places where you have worked on your LinkedIn profile changes. What that means is that the minimum amount anybody can offer you in the future will also change.
Absolutely.
Right? So this is a lot you can get once you jump on this program. Once again, like I said, I've dropped the link to the WhatsApp group where you can get more information. Aside that, I've also dropped my number in the chat box. So in case the link is not working for you, you can just chat me up on WhatsApp, and then we can take it away from here. Like I said, this recording is going to be made available and pushed on YouTube, so you can listen to this again and get all this information, so that you can connect with this program. And don't forget to share with your friends, your neighbors, people who feel, I want to stay in Nigeria and earn in USD, right? This is your opportunity. This is your chance. Please grab it. It's crucial. It's an investment that is worth every cent, right? So that's all I have to say for now. Thank you, Adi, once again. Oh, this means so much to us, right? We'll give you a special shout out on LinkedIn. Trust me. And to everyone who was able to make it down, I don't know if we still have any more questions. She has to go right now, but if you have any questions, just indicate that.
I have 7 minutes. Don't worry. The kids already had their breakfast. They're with their daddy somewhere in the room. Oh, and FYI, in case you didn't know this about me, my husband used to work in the office, and even after he worked for the U.S. Army. But I used to tell him, work from home. You can work from home. Today, my husband and I both work from home. He works for Liberty Mutual. If you Google Liberty Mutual, they're one of the biggest insurance companies. And he actually works and trains people right from home. He only works 9 to 5 every day. So he gets to go riding bicycle with his son when he picks them up at school. And he earns, let me just put this disclosure, above 50 an hour. I don't know if you want me to say this, but above 50. He earns more than I do. I'm trying to get there. And I'm the one that told him. And I'm the one that told him about this, but he has totally overtaken me. But I don't mind, because that means he gets to pay for things I don't want to pay for me. So, and I also just want to go ahead and say this. Just like Maxwell said, it's an amazing investment. I'm an audio learner and a visual learner. And this package that Uniek Ideas is going to provide to you, like we said, is for 7 weeks. It's me there talking in video and audio, and then it's also content. So you would have me recorded already for the next 7 weeks. However, it's important that after you've gone through that program, that we are there to back you up. It's kind of like we're your cheerleaders. We're like, hey, keep applying. Hey, keep applying. And then we'll keep sending links, because even as we speak, jobs are being posted. You notice a job was posted on the 2nd of February. There'll be a job posted on the 5th of February. We don't want you to lose out on that. But you can only know about those jobs. You can only know how to apply to those jobs by being connected to Uniek Ideas and the one-on-one sessions. They will last for weeks, or at least until you get a job. Because the moment you get a job, we're like, okay, bye. Start making your money and do your thing. Invest in yourself, invest in that company, and let that company invest in you as well. I think somebody just raised their hand as well. I'm not sure. I can take the question. I have 4 more minutes.
Yeah, so you can unmute your mic if you just raised your hand. Yep. You can unmute your mic if you just raised your hand. Okay. In the absence of questions, I'm so sorry about the background noise and all that.
Oh no, it's okay. No, it's just life. It's fine.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah. So
you're welcome, Abisola.
I can see that we don't have any hands up again.
Okay,
so like
I think
said,
the person dropped her hand. The person wanted to send an emoji. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so don't forget the recording will be made available in about 48 hours. Like I promise you, don't worry. Check on my social media handles, you're gonna find them. Maxwell Adu on LinkedIn, Facebook. On Instagram, I'm the Unique Techie. But you get all the information you need once you're on the WhatsApp platform, right? When you reach out to me, I will definitely share all the information so that we can make this happen. It's possible. Okay, so there's some nice comments. People are saying you are amazing, Adi. Lucy says amazing, ma. Indubisi says thank you so much, ma. Adebisola says thank you so much. You have been wonderful. Miss Awe says thank you so much. Amazing session, Adi. Okudi Mary says thank you so much. NK says thank you, Adi. NK also says, okay, I've said that already. Okay, so on that note, I want to say thank you, everyone. For those who are attending our webinar for the first time, there's a way we say a big thank you to everybody who comes on any of our webinars, right? So for those who know how to do it, you just send your best emoji right now. So let the emojis just fill up everywhere, guys. Let's have the emojis coming up. Thank you, Adi. Thank you, Adi. This is a special way of saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so
thank you for your
everyone
time.
for joining.
Thank you all for your time.
a fantastic week. You can also mute your mic to say bye to Adi, right? It's okay.
Bye,
Thank you,
Hadi.
Ade.
Bye,
Yeah.
y'all.
All right.
Thank y'all. Have
Yeah.
a good rest of the week, a
Bye.
productive and a consistent week, okay? Keep
Thank
the
you.
fire burning, but use all the
And you
materials from all
too.
the mentors that you can get, okay?
Yeah, we are looking forward to the one-on-one
Okay.
section.
Yeah.
Same here. I'm looking forward to it
Yes.
as well.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Let me go pick up my people so we can go to church. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah. Bye, everyone. Have a fantastic